Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. And we're live.
We're not live anymore. We used to do this live all the time, but we're recording live. How's everyone doing? Welcome to Bid Nerds, your daily nerd on the most interesting cars of the day. Actually, the most interesting car of the day. We do one car a day now, and it's a goodie. You're going to like today's car, but first, my name is John Polnik. Thanks for joining us. I'm your host here in Las Vegas, Nevada, along with my partner, Michael Deeb.
What's up, JP? Sweet
you?
studio, dude. I'm in San Francisco. I'm at the 11th Avenue Studios here in San Francisco, California. Foggy San Francisco, but yeah, man, we're just keeping it real out here on the West Coast.
Going after it, man. If you're in Las Vegas, come and visit us at the Container Park. If you've ever been in downtown area of Las Vegas, downtown is where it's at. Screw the strip. I mean, Aria and all that stuff. Whatever. They don't have this studio. They don't have the place where we make Bid Nerds right here in the middle of the Container Park, the famous Las Vegas Container Park in downtown Las Vegas.
JP, I have a question for you. Now, people that come to Vegas will go down to the Fremont Street Experience, and then the astute fans of the nerds will realize they're literally just steps away from your studio. Will you hang a poster or a neon or something outside? Can you do signage for the studio so at least somebody on the sidewalk can be like, oh, that's the studio right up there? Like, how can they tell which one is your container?
We're going to have a big flag that will
have
the
R studio.
Yeah, that'll have the Rami Show logo. So that'll be the big R, and that'll be the
purple
R
and
studio.
gold, right? Purple and gold R.
Yeah, purple and orange. Yeah, and then there is a Bid Nerds sticker on the window, and we'll have a big Bid Nerd sign, and I'll probably put some Bid Nerd stuff up. And then we have a screen on the wall here. You can't really, it's not doing anything yet, but this screen right here, when we're not in the studio, we'll probably have stuff looped.
It'll be just running deep to Fascination Loop.
Yeah, and you guys can see here, it's all glass on
the look at
that.
There.
That's
so cool.
Second floor of the Container Park. So it's a retail space originally. That's what this space was designed for. This was a clothing store about 3 months ago. But now we're in here doing the Bid Nerds and a bunch of other stuff. Check out the Rami Show. Obviously, check out Bid Nerds. Check out Everyone Races. Mental's going to start doing his Wednesday thing here. And we're going to do some other stuff, too. So it's pretty exciting what's going on. Also, check out Defasa Nation. That's another YouTube channel, as well as
Porsche Road Trip.
On Pluto TV. That is correct. On demand on Pluto TV with Adam Carolla and Sir Mix-a-Lot and myself. All right, well, let's get to the most interesting car of the day. We chose the most interesting car of the day, so you don't have to. We dug through Bring a Trailer, Cars and Bids, Marked, and Shiftgate to find you the car that we think is the most interesting one of the day. So let's get right to it. Michael Deeb, what's the car of the day?
Check it out, JP. On Bring a Trailer, offered to us out of Morristown, New Jersey, is this 2004 Porsche 911 Carrera C4S. So this coupe is a 6-speed manual. It has just 12,000 miles on the odometer. This was, basically the last year of production for the 996. There are some 05, I think, Turbo S's, JP, correct me if I'm wrong, that were actually constructed or manufactured in 2005. But by and large, 996 production ceased. And this was sort of the best of the rest. Like this was, kind of the wide body, the cool body work, and some other neat accoutrement that they did to put on what was essentially a 911 Carrera, all-wheel drive. This particular car has a set of wheels that I actually think I like these better. I think I would prefer my C4S to have these 18-inch Sport Techno rims. I think they're really growing on me over the years. I really like the way these look. I think they've held up really well. I love the black on black on this car. The IMS bearing that the 996s are notorious for having are problematic and can be catastrophic to your motor. The IMS bearing on this car was replaced in 2013. JP, when I hand it over to JP, he will let you all know his apprehension with 996 generation cars that have unusually low miles. But I picked this car because I think the color is hot. I think that John and I have really witnessed over the last 30 months C4Ss from this era literally triple in value right before our eyes. I mean, we're both kicking ourselves for not buying one when we could afford them at 25 to $35,000, and now these cars are regularly running for, 55 and $65,000. And JP, despite this car having an MSRP that was, and let me read you from my notes, please. This car was $92,000. It's sitting at $57,000 right now. I think that this car has a chance, even though you would caution against buying a car with such low miles. I think because the car has low miles, I think that there's a chance this car brings very close, like suspiciously close to MSRP, which we haven't seen a 996 regular car, a non-Metzger engine car do in the secondary market. And I think this car has a chance to do it. It's all there. The bearing's been done. It's the right colors. It's low miles to the, uninformed average collector. And I think somebody's going to pay dearly for this car. So, John, explain to us why you love it and what you would caution the average buyer for, all that glitters is not gold on these particular cars for good reason. Kind of fill the listeners in. Viewers, I should say.
Well, okay, I think you're right. This car is something that is kind of become a collectible. Look, you had mentioned earlier 04, 05 last year. So 04 was the last year of the C4S and 996, the naturally aspirated coupes. There were still convertibles in 05.
There was. Okay, cool.
And then turbo coupes were still available in 05 too. But so you can get an 05 C4S cab.
Interesting. Yeah. That's crazy, huh?
Because that was a crossover with the introduction.
That's so Porsche, isn't it? Right? To not have like a cutoff year. We'll just run out of parts and then we'll finish making them. That's so weird. Porsche is so.
I have owned 5 of these, I think, 4 or 5.
Is that right?
Yeah. C4S is in one iteration or another. I've had 3 or 4 coupes and a convertible or 2. And I've loved every one of them. I've never had an IMS failure, knock on wood. They've all been terribly reliable cars. But there are some issues, like you mentioned, that you got to kind of watch out for. The IMS bearing, everybody knows about that. The intermediate shaft bearing, if it fails, it'll completely grenade the engine. And that is a legit issue with these cars. It's not uncommon to see ads for these with 60, 70,000 miles, engine replaced at 30. And that's the thing is that, okay, this one's had the bearing updated. Guess what? We've seen the updated bearings go as well. This engine just is magnificent when it works, but it seems to be made out of glass, unfortunately, or at least some of them are. The big thing that you were alluding to as well is that these cars, like the first one I ever had 20-something thousand miles on it. And I remember looking, and that was years and years and years ago. That was probably 15 years ago when I bought that car. And I remember looking at the Carfax report. I bought it from a dealer, and it just had all this service. And I called the Porsche dealership, and I'm like, this car has like 22,000 miles on it. It's already had the rear main seal replaced. It had the
oh my god
seals replaced. It had the second gear and the transmission replaced. I mean, it had all this big stuff. But it was all under warranty for whoever owned it. So these are the kind of cars that when they were bought new, someone drove them. They had a warranty on them. The stuff broke early on, and whoever that first owner was took it to the dealership, and it was all paid for. So that owner was probably like inconvenienced, but they were made whole. Some of these had, not just the IMS going away, but the piston, the scoring, the
bore scoring.
Bore scoring. Thank you. I don't know why I was flubbing with that, but there's some pretty big issues with these that should make you kind of go because that engine is a $30,000 engine. When these cars were worth $25,000 to $30,000, that equation was like, God, I don't know if it's worth it to even take a risk. But now that these cars are worth 50, 60 and up, maybe an engine going away wouldn't be it would still suck, but at least the car would have value above and beyond what you put in that engine. These cars, I kind of feel like are the next gen 964. 996s, the first gens were kind of universally hated, and still really haven't captured the love because of the headlights or what have you. I don't really care about the headlights of the first generation one. This is the second generation one, so it has the turbo front end.
It's gorgeous.
Big scoops. I think the front end of this car the C4S and the turbo in the 996 looks better than any regular 997 front end. Now, that's not
Interesting.
counting the GT3,
Okay.
but
Yeah,
a base 997
Sure.
front end. This is way more dramatic. This is way more fun. Those big air scoops on the front just look like they're coming after you. I think that's just a dramatic, fun, great, cool, angry-looking car, which is what you want your Porsche to look like. And I think that was the problem with the base 996s, especially the first-generation ones, is they really had that kind of 90s Miata happiness to it that you don't want to associate with a 911. These have the bigger engine. Now, another thing that people don't realize, and one of the most common questions I hear about 996 C4Ss is that people think that they have a bigger, more powerful engine than the base model, because in the 997s and the 991s, that's going to have been the trend. Base model has a smaller engine, S has a bigger engine, or at least now with the 991s, same size engine, but the S has more horsepower. In the C4S and the 996 has the exact same powertrain as a C4 or a C2 narrow body. And there were no C2Ss in the 996. So this car is a future classic. People were saying it back in the day, and that is, I believe, is being realized.
Absolutely. And then JP, that arguably I think the hottest feature on this car we didn't talk about. You had said it all along, and then I drove behind one of these on a rally. That is the hottest rear end in automotive world. The way they put those gills, the width of the back end, the hips on the car, that whole rear end, it is one of the sweetest asses of any car ever made. That is a pretty car to follow. And they're such good cars. They really do bridge, the air-cooled era and the modern cars that are, essentially idiot-proof. This is still an engaging driving car, but it still has some of the bells and whistles in it. It's just you can almost do no wrong. You can go out and really attack the road in a car like that, and I think it's really cool. I want to own one, and this thing is beautiful, and I think this car is going to be too expensive for me. So.
Well, I certainly agree. I mean, look, I think this is a fantastic car, but already at the price, how many days do we have to go till this thing ends?
So JP, I think this car closes on Saturday the 5th, and it's only got one.
How many days is that from now? That's
Tuesday. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
3 4 days. Okay, so we're
4 days.
Out. And this car is already at what? $57,000.
$57,000, but on just one bid.
Okay, so someone's just kind of going in there going, boom. This car, I mean, looking at the interior pictures, it's just like the leather looks magnificent. Now, I do hate
brand new
ball sack, supple leather crap. But look at those door handles. I always love to tell people, some people really don't like the interior in the 996, but I love it. And I think ergonomically, it's one of the best cars ever. People don't realize it's got this little kind of like ledge that's perfect for your elbow, where the 997 interiors are just flat and you don't have a place to put your arm. It's really well thought out and functional. This is that whole function before form thing. The gauges are huge and easy to read. That steering wheel is just a fantastic steering wheel. It's a really common steering wheel for people to put in like 993s. People love to upgrade the 993 steering wheel, 3-prong 996 steering wheel. And this is the steering wheel. This is in the Carrera GT. They didn't make a different steering wheel for the Carrera GT. They just said, screw it. We're using the 996 steering wheel of the era. And I think that is fantastic. So,
Porsche offers an updated head unit, like for these cars too. So there's a 996 gen updated head unit for these cars, and I think that'd be a pretty cool thing to have if you own a car like this.
For sure. 12,000 miles is really, really, really low miles. $57,000. Where do you think this thing is gonna land?
So JP, these cars were $92,000. This car was a $92,000 car when it was brand new. And I think easily this car is going to bring 80. Something about the color and the rims, and it's the photos are fair. I think this guy's going to do really well. I'm going to go all in on this car, John. I might go over, but I might outkick my coverage. But I'm going to say $90,000, and with so doing, this particular lot could set a new high water mark for the C4S from the 996. So if I'm right, then we'll see. I think we'll see a bunch come out in the spring because people are going to start thinking they have a 6-figure car. So we'll see. Now, if this car somehow falls short and only brings $70,000, I'd be very surprised if that's what happened. But then I don't think it's going to change the current value of the car. But if I'm right, this car gets really close to sticker, I think we're going to see a lot of them in the next couple months.
Those miles definitely make a high run, last minute BAT race to the top something that's possible.
Yeah.
But I just don't. I mean, I just don't think there. I mean, I'm going to say $72,000. I would be shocked if it makes it above 70. It's still just a 996 C4S. I love this car. This is one of my favorite cars of all time. But I mean, you start talking about 90 grand. Now, if this car had like 3,000 miles or collector value, not collector value miles, but I'm sorry.
No, I know what you mean.
Delivery miles.
Right.
Maybe I'm just missing the boat, because remember back in the day, like a year ago, I'm old enough to remember when a 996 GT3 was a $60,000, $70,000 car. People were like, "Whoa, they're getting 60 grand for one of these now." And now they're routinely getting 120 or more. So what else do you get?
A 12,000 mile 996 GT3, and let's just say it was black, because most of them are silver.
Yeah.
That's $160,000 to $180,000 car. If it's got ceramic brakes, they're asking $190,000 for it today. With all the cosmoline that this car has still on the drivetrain, with all these, this guy's got a good bucket of photos.
The interior really presents better than the exterior. It's hard with the black.
It does.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah, you're
if
right.
Those are little rock chips or if that's just dust. And this is where, when you're running an ad for a car like this and you really want to get that premium money, this car probably should have been put in a studio that was cleaned up and air blasted off and just, I mean, because especially being black. I mean, look at this hood. Look at the roof of this car.
You blow that up for us? There you go. Yeah.
Are those specs? Or is that just dust, which makes sense on a black car? Or water?
Well, especially one.
Here's another picture.
Yeah, especially one that's parked in a field for the photos. I mean, how long was that car sitting there for 2 hours if the wind's?
Yeah, it really just is making me. If the exterior is as clean as the interior, it sure would have been nice to have photos that really, really showed that. And these, unfortunately, don't. I think BAT buyers are savvy enough to maybe see through that, and it'll be interesting to see if it makes the number that you predict. And we will find out how right or wrong, which one of us is an idiot and which one knows what the hell he's doing right after this. Hey guys, I'm super excited to tell you about our sponsor, Guys Customs. That's Guys, GYX _customs. That's how you spell it. Guys Customs bracelets. These things are amazing. Check them out. They're handmade in America, custom bracelets made to match your watch or your car. These things are unbelievable. I have 3 or 4 of them myself. My partner Michael Deeb has a bunch of them. They're pretty addictive once you get one. Each one of them are bespoke. We're talking carbon fiber. We're talking titanium. We're talking stainless steel, glass. There's none of this cheap Chinese garbage that you see a lot of bracelets being made out there. These ones are super high quality. They're made right here in America. When you go to Guys Customs on Instagram, it's about the only place that you can order one of these. When you DM the artist, you're actually reaching the real artist when you DM Guys Customs at Instagram. And she will make you a bracelet made to match that special watch, that special car, or that special person that has a special watch or a special car and they want something really, really cool in their life. They make the most amazing gifts. I get compliments on mine all the time. Everywhere I go, people are like, wow, that's really cool. You can see in the pictures, these beads, the colored beads are PTS. They're paint to sample. So if you have a specific color code for your car, she'll have beads made that are specifically painted to match your car or your watch. It's unbelievable. You got to get one of these Guys Customs bracelets. Check them out. They support us, and we really, really, really want to support them. Guys Customs bracelets. All right, let's get back to the bids. Let's find out how much that car sold for today. Okay, guys, welcome back to Pit Nerds, your daily nerd out on the most interesting cars of the day. Actually, the most interesting car of the day on the automotive enthusiast auction site. So we used to talk about a bunch of cars in one episode, but now we're just down to the most interesting car of the day. And boy, this is one of our favorites. Okay, Michael Deeb, this 2000, what was this? 2004, 2005?
2004 Porsche 911 C4S Coupe out of Morristown, New Jersey. And John, did we mention it only has 12,000 miles on it?
We did mention that it only has 12,000
Look at that.
miles. Look at that thing. Beautiful car. Beautiful car.
That's got to be like one of the least used ones, on the road in this country. I mean, that thing basically looks brand new. You and I were really picking apart the photographs to say, on a black paint, are we looking at dust, or could there be a little bit of pitting? But with the low miles and the rest of the condition of the interior, I would say that car has been babied its whole life. It looks like a new car. It's really nice.
Well, what was your bid on this car? What did you think this
All
car
right.
would sell for?
So, John, look, we took a little sabbatical for the first half of this, for the winter, the fall and the winter. We took a little sabbatical, and I've been watching C4Ss continue to they're just creeping higher and higher. And I thought this one, in the beautiful black on black with the techno wheels and the low miles, I really thought this car could set a new high watermark for the 996 C4S. So I outkicked my coverage. I went big on a bold take, and I thought this car might come close to $90,000. After you got done laughing at my bid, you came in at $72,000. And lo and behold, you were way closer than me. You were almost $8,000 away. Our car did sell on Bring a Trailer for $63,500, which is the correct, market for the nice ones. But it didn't set the world on fire. It didn't set a new high water mark. It didn't break any records. Whatever. Blah blah blah. That's the right value for this car. They're no longer $50,000 cars. In this condition, they're $60,000 to $65,000 cars. I just thought this one might go crazy. It didn't, but you got the win, and deservedly so. That's the right number for that car in today's market.
Well, you just said it didn't break the high water mark. Have we actually confirmed that? I mean, 60 something $1,000. That's higher than I can think of ever seeing a 996 C4S.
Yeah.
I think your number. If this car were this one has 12,000 miles, which clearly very, very low miles. And looking at the pictures of the interior, it certainly looks like it. The exterior, like we said earlier, maybe not so much. But that said, if this car was a 600-mile car, I think your number or even my number might be more realistic. I went high just because your number was so high, and I wanted to needed to cover the spread, as it were. But this car. 60-something $1,000 for this. I just, man, I don't know, because with that kind of money, you're still looking at a pretty darn nice 997S. And as much as I'll go ahead and say it, I'll be that guy. I actually think this car looks better than most 997s on GT versions, and that gets me in a lot of heat from a lot of people. There's no denying that the 997S is the better car. I mean, a 997 C2S with a manual, you got the 3.8 and just so much more power, and you can easily get a 997 C2S manual for $60-something thousand. And even if it had a few more miles on it, that's the better.
Dot one. Dot one.
Certainly not a dot two. Dot twos are
rare. They're unicorns, right? Yeah, it's a whole other story. You're right. What's interesting, John, is that 3 years ago when you and I were talking about these cars, you could have picked up a really nice one like this for around 40 grand. Yeah. And now we've got a car that's sold comfortably over 60. We're talking about 30 months. These cars have gone up more than 50% in retail value. That is as strong a reflection of the crazy market as there is. So this number is still a bonkers result. I agree with you.
When I bought my very first C4S, probably back in 2000, I want to say 7 or 8. It was probably 2008.
So when the car was just a warranty.
Yeah, the car was just out of warranty. The 997 had just come up. My car had, I think that car had like 30,000 miles on it, and I remember spending $36,000 on that car, going, "Holy cow! That's a whole bunch of
Yeah.
that's a lot because
Yeah.
Porsche the price of all Porsches had really dumped in 2008 because of what was going on, and
Yeah,
now that same car, if I just locked it away, would be worth 50 or 60 grand. Crazy.
Yeah.
But there it is, guys. All right.
Right.
Anything else?
And
you wanna say?
for the record, JP would never lock a car away. It's
Yeah,
not.
that's true.
He's not that person.
If I
Yeah.
still had that car, it would have 250,000 miles on it.
Exactly. And it was
Or
worth
more.
$36,000.
It's true. That's a good point. Well, guys, thanks for hanging out and talking about a C4S with us. My name is JP, along with my partner, Michael Deeb. Thanks for watching another episode of Bid Nerds. Hit the subscribe, like, and notification button now so that you know when the freshest nerds are available. We do this every day. We're kind of done.
Nerds!
Get those nerds!